Hi guys, so today's video we're going to take a look at some young Victoria sovereigns, and I'm going to talk through some of the different facts and bits of information, some interesting bits and pieces that I found while researching them and collecting all the available dates. So first thing you'll notice is the coins flip a different way to the more recent sovereigns. Now we're going to talk through, like I say, some of the designs, some of the interesting facts about different years, and we'll go from there. So I've got just over a tube for you today, and what you'll notice is here they have the M mint mark below the neck. So on these coins the mint mark is on the portrait side if it has one. It's not on the St. George and Dragon on the horseback side. So you see here again just below the neck there is the M. What you'll also see, you probably find it hard to see on the video, but you'll find the William Wyon initials, so WW, and they are the engraver's initials of the portrait. So obviously on the other side we have Benedetto Pastrucci, who designed the St. George and Dragon, but we have the date on this side, we have BP, which is his initials, and on the other side is where we have the WW. So there's quite a lot of different varieties and different things to look at. Now, some of the sovereigns were minted in London, some were Sydney, and some were Melbourne. So the branch mints were active at this point. All of the years, so there's 17 in total between 1871 and 1887. All of the years are available with the Sydney mint mark, which is 17 different years. There is, I think, 11 available London dates. So the London dates you can tell because they don't have any mint mark. So there's no mint mark on this side, there's no mint mark above the date like in the modern years. And when you flip the coin, you'll see just below the neck there is the S, which is a Sydney mint. So if there's no mint mark, it is for London. So one thing you can do if you're buying these kind of sovereigns is just check that the dates do actually exist. Now, it's not uncommon to see forged sovereigns and counterfeit sovereigns. But if you check, for example, a mintage list, and you can do that in many different resources. I like to use the Marsh sovereign book, but Bullion by Post also have a really good mintage list on their website. You can check on there and you can see whether or not the coin was actually minted. So some years were more rare than others, and some years, they had just non-minted, so they're not available. Whereas others, they are minted, they're more common and you'll pick them up, more often. So this one's a particularly nice one. You can see quite a lot of detail in the hairline here, and a very nice coin. So most of my young Victoria sovereigns have just come from best value coins. There often is a chance to buy just a best value Victoria coin, and when that's come around, I have taken advantage of that. Some coins have just come, purely from best value, and so it's just luck of the draw. And you might also notice that there are shield sovereigns available with the Young Victoria portrait. So I haven't got any to show you today, but I do have those on another video. And they are basically minted along with the St. George and Dragon design. So from 1838 all the way up until 1887, you can actually get the shield sovereigns as well. For me personally, I've not seen many of the later years of those. I just rarely see them, and the earlier years it's very difficult to get in a good condition. So if you're a collector looking for the prime, nicest examples, you are going to pay a decent premium for shields, but you can occasionally get lucky and still pick up some reasonable examples as well. Now, this is an 1886. It's got like a little bit of a ding near the date, so I'm not sure what happened with that one. But there are some that have quite a lot of varieties in here as well. So by varieties, the coins were minted, they were milled coins, so they were minted, using machinery. But also there were things like initials and dates that were overstamped and things like that. So if you have a look at things like that, you can pick up some varieties and perhaps come across a rare variety in your stack. Now, the engraver's initials as well, they have some different options, if you like, and some of them were incused, which means they were sort of indented into the coin, and some were raised, which is more like this date is here. That's a bit of a shiny one. I think that might have been cleaned at some point, but yeah, you might see some different initials and things. There might be some other varieties as well, so you can look a bit more closely, and you can learn a bit more about the sovereigns themselves, the minting processes and that kind of thing. So it's not something I've delved into too much, but for me personally, what I'm looking at when I'm buying the coins, if I have a choice of coins, like if you go into a coin shop or a coin show and you can see the coins there in front of you, then ideally looking for the nicer coins for my money. Now, what you can look at here is the hairline, so just above where the ear is. That is one of the places to show wear. On this side, you can see on the rider's leg and also on the dragon's belly. So there's some of the areas you can look out for different signs of wear and different things. Obviously, you can look out for any major scratches and dings, if there's any testing marks and things. So this is an 1871, which is the first available year. And yeah, I would like to pick up a nicer example, but for now, it's just a nice bullion condition example, if you like. So overall, through the years, you can go up to 1887, which I mentioned earlier is 17 available years. And yeah, not all of them are available in each mint mark. So as I was doing some research, for me personally, I found the most rare years to be around 1881 to 1883. I just found these less common, like I've not come across them as much. Some years I have multiples of, other years I've just not even seen them come up very often. Even when you're searching around, on the second-hand market or various coin dealers' websites, even when you're trying to buy a specific date, they're just not that common. So not to say they're impossible to find, because obviously I have them here, but just seem less common, if you like. So the most rare, or one of the most rare, was 1879 London, which I don't own, but apparently there was only a 20k mintage on that year. So interested, if you have one of those, let us know in the comments. Maybe worth checking your stack just in case. But yeah, overall I've got varied condition, but they are generally just bullion condition. There are a few particularly nice examples, and there are a few that have perhaps been lightly cleaned in the past. So you do ideally want to avoid clean coins if you can. So one of the nice things about the particular run of Young Victorias, you should be able to get most of the dates without having to pay an arm and a leg. So if you look at some of the Shield years, for example, if you want a complete run there, you're going to have to pay a fortune for some of them in nice condition. Same with the pre-Victoria sovereigns. If you want nice condition coins, you're just going to pay a fortune really compared to the bullion price. Whereas these coins, in this particular date run from 1871 to 1887, you should be able to pick up most of the coins just as a best value bullion kind of price. If you want to buy a really nice example and you might have to pay a little bit extra to choose a date, then perhaps. But overall, the run itself is pretty good. After this, obviously Victoria was still reigning, but moved on to a different portrait. So from 1887 there is the Jubilee sovereign, and then from 1893 there is the old head, or the veiled head, or the widowed head, depending on what you like to call it, up until 1901, when was the end of Queen Victoria's reign. So obviously moved on to Edward then. But yeah, it's a nice option if you want to perhaps collect one of each portrait. You can get the young head, you can get the veiled head, you can get the Jubilee head, and you could get yourself a shield back as well, and have 4 decent examples just showing the 4 available main portraits, if you like. So hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think of these, and if you've got any, I'll talk to you soon.